This is the part of politics that is so hard to watch because you have to play the game. Of course, Trump is trying to distance himself from Tony Hinchecliff. Here's what I believe. I believe he didn't really know him, maybe knows him a little, thought he was funny. He was recommended. Tony Hinchecliff, just being an artist, being in America, being an insult comic, just thought he would do what he always does. And I thought it was a little odd to go into his full act for a rally, but he did it. And he told jokes, and ultimately they were jokes. But of course, now the left is trying to spin this because they want to use the rhetoric that Trump's racist and that he's a fascist and that he's dangerous. And so now they keep, ramping this up because we're only a few days from the election. And so this is all about who can spin the media fastest, who is going to win at the Judo Principle, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But they are now tearing off their clothes. They can't believe it. Oh, and they're spinning everything because they don't understand common sense at all. And when Trump also talks about the Liz Cheney thing, they don't understand nuance and common sense at all. I think he is describing how she would like it if she was in the face of war, but she's so disconnected, is what he was saying, because she's rich and just lives in the big, glass building away from the real world where people in war are getting hurt. These are warmongers. So what Trump was saying is, how is she like being in front of, guns facing at you? He wasn't saying that that's what he's going to do. And the enemy within is, yes, these political rivals who want to jail Trump, who want to call him a Nazi, who want to incite all this hate and spin everything while they're aghast. Okay, we got to watch this.
He also yesterday continued to respond to that joke himself. And we're now, 48 hours afterward, he's still continuing to be forced to answer questions about it. Listen to what he told Sean Hannity last night about his view of what was said.
Had great relationships with Hispanics, but I've had really great relationship with Puerto Rico and people from Puerto Rico. They love, every time I go outside, I see somebody from Puerto Rico. They give me a hug and a kiss. Who this comedian was, I have no idea.
You wish he wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but I don't want anybody making nasty jokes or stupid jokes. But probably he shouldn't have been there, yeah.
See, and look at him. He's so smug. He's like, ha, ha, ha. Made a bad choice on a comic, did ya? It's the end of your career. Look, Trump is distancing himself because he's like, look, it's sometimes the risk you take when you believe truly in freedom of speech. And that's the whole thing with the MAGA movement, is that they believe in the people to do what's best. And I have a stand-up comedy background, and I can tell you, anytime you're going to tell a joke, it's a risk. If you're an insult comic and you're going to tell some jokes at the rally, it's a huge risk. But it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. But the way that they're spinning everything now, really ramping it up to paint Trump to be bad. And this is the dangerous thing, is that so many people believe it, and it really is lies. But you can see how it can be set up to look that way.
Donald Trump is talking about political rival Liz Cheney. He just called for executing her. Does this move people or what, Pete?
No, he's literally not moved at all. Okay, robot action. No, here's the thing. You are being overly dramatic. He did not call to execute her. You guys have zero common sense. It's amazing that you can do the news. I am sorry. Are you really that cognitively challenged, or are you just pretending? Are you that good of actors that you can pretend to be this aghast? Do you really think this is true? You must really think that this is true, but it is absolutely not. You're just missing complete common sense and nuance. Make America able to communicate again.
I'm sickened by it, Sarah, to be honest with you.
Since July, since that first assassination attempt, we have heard Republicans, my fellow Republicans, excoriate Democrats for their.
He's like, we just can't believe he didn't go down. Since that first assassination attempt, why are we still? I'm sorry. It's like, look at how smug and, oh boy, these guys.
Their rhetoric and saying that the rhetoric was the cause of that assassination attempt and then the second assassination attempt. And here you have a former president of the United States, a potentially the next.
They are so hypocritical. They don't think that calling him Nazi and a fascist might incite hate in somebody who's not mentally stable and could potentially cause an assassination attempt. Can't even get their head around that. But telling jokes, absolutely not okay. I mean, the hypocrisy is unreal.
Next president of the United States threatening a political rival in Liz Cheney. If you want to be president, act like you want to be president. And
see, and they're so excited because they're like, this is going to be the gotcha that we got Trump. He is talking about her. If she was in position, Liz Cheney, in war, maybe she wouldn't like war so much. Maybe she would want to put an end to war. Maybe she wouldn't want all of us hardworking citizens who are struggling to be funding wars that we don't want to fund anymore. But no, they're spinning this to be as if he's calling for the execution of Liz Cheney. Are you guys that like far out brainwashed? It really has common sense completely left the building? Or are you just acting?
And actually bring respect to the office. And I usually don't get that wound up, but listening to that just really, really, really bothers me.
I just want to quickly put on the screen, Liz Cheney has responded to this. And if we can put her words up on the screen, she says, this is how dictators destroy free nations. He is literally putting that out there and threatening Liz Cheney.
It's unconscionable.
What is this message?
It's unconscionable. I don't know how Republican leaders, many of whom served with Liz Cheney and at one point considered her a colleague and friends, cannot denounce this. It is dangerous. It's
because we understand that's not what he was saying. You hate him so much that you're just looking for the soundbite that's going to fuel this hate and division so that you feel like you can prop Kamala up there. That's all you're doing. And you're excited about it. I mean, look at this is like the most light I see in these people's eyes ever is when they think they have a gotcha on Trump. If you understand common sense, you understand what he's talking about. We'll see in a minute.
Escalatory. He's also already called for war, like tribunals against her when he's back as president. It is so unpresidential, reckless, and dangerous, and it needs to be universally condemned.
4 days out from Election Day, and former President Donald Trump is
She's the worst. She's so disgusted. She's just going to throw up. And I'm going to throw up watching how disgusted they are about not understanding common sense. I'm disgusted that you could be this in a brain fog and hate somebody so much that you cannot listen to what they are actually saying. Things can have double meanings. He's, again, for the third time now, CNN, everybody who's outraged by what he was saying, he's saying Liz Cheney wouldn't be so eager to spend all of our money hurting other people in wars if she was the one facing war. But because she's so removed from it, she's totally disconnected. And they're spinning this into saying that he is calling for an execution of Liz Cheney. That is not what he's saying. So what you guys are doing is actually what's actually dangerous. See, the media is the fourth branch of government. And right now, the fourth branch of government is spinning politics. It's very dangerous. I'm going to link this into the previous video I was trying to do on this. We're going to move into some lighter things in a minute about politics. But this is where the judo effect, which I'm going to explain, comes into effect big time.
Escalating his violent rhetoric, suggesting one of his most prominent critics, the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, should be fired upon.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Yes, she won't like it so much, but instead she's so removed from it. So she has no clue. So she keeps spending our money on war.
You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
Let's see how she feels when the guns are trained on her face.
Katie, you completely missed what he was saying. 100% woo! Completely missed what he was saying. Oh my gosh.
Sit with that for a moment. Of course, violent rhetoric, it's not new for Trump. But this stark imagery represents an escalation at a tense moment when the country is on edge heading into Tuesday, with 7 in 10 Americans saying they feel anxious or frustrated about the election, according to a new AP poll. And it comes after Trump has raised the specter of using the U.S. military on Americans he calls the enemy within.
Wrong. On the criminals that are hurting Americans right now in the United States. He's going to turn the military on them to have a deportation. Yes, I'm sure he's going to expose some of these politicians, including Kamala Harris, who has totally not only allowed this problem to happen, encouraged the problem to happen, but actually paid for this problem to happen. It's actually costing us millions of dollars right now to encourage this problem to happen. And then to incite this hate and rhetoric about Trump being a fascist and racist so that half the country is calling Trump supporters that. That is all due to Kamala and these disgusted news anchors who have no common sense whatsoever. 100% fake news.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. It should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
See how they edit it together like that? So it deliberately makes it feel like he's going to go after the political opponents, when in actuality, that is what they're doing to Trump right now. That is what they're doing. They're trying to imprison anybody who doesn't think the same. And the reason I haven't even been able to get a video out is because that's another video. But it's Kamala's policies basically with the public school system. And I had to pull my daughter from public schooling. We're going to be doing homeschooling. But that's for another video, but this all is connected. So I don't have a problem with them all playing politics, because you have to right now. And so if that means he has to distance himself from something or do something else because the media is going to spin things and that's going to pull away and distract from real policies, then we got to do it, right? So let me know what you think. And let me know if you think it's the judo effect. I'm going to explain here in just a moment. They link these videos together. The judo principle is when one campaign comes in with a lie, a media blitz, something that happens, and they can spin it in their favor so that it's a distraction from the winning candidate, in hopes that they don't have time to retaliate and it can sway the vote.
Her campaign is stuck cleaning up comments President Biden made on a live stream to supporters.
For Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Biden was responding to a question about an offensive joke made at Donald Trump's rally on Sunday, where a comedian called Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage.
It was jokes. But of course, during this heated political climate, you're not allowed to tell jokes. It's very serious. Your jokes could cost us not being able to afford groceries ever again. No pressure, Tony Hinchecliff.
Let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for.
Okay, well, then they need to stop calling Trump a racist and fascist.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself if he knows what he's even doing. And she should be ashamed. And one of my people came in and said, sir, You know, the word garbage is the hottest thing right now out there. The hottest thing out there. Sir, would you like to drive a garbage truck? Now, we're about, 30 minutes from landing. We had to do this pretty quick. I said, it's sort of cool, though, isn't it? Because, and I said, I think that's okay. But, I don't feel comfortable wearing a suit. And they pulled up this garbage truck. I don't know how the hell they did it so fast. I have very capable people. They put a big sign on the truck. Did you see it? I think they showed it. Yeah.
Personable, which in a minute you're going to see how Kamala talks to her supporters. And who do you think will win this judo principle? Because it's on right now. Now it's all about the media. We know it's about policy, but unfortunately, a lot of people aren't voting on policy. They're voting on the party, and they're voting on this judo principle without even realizing it.
This beautiful driver, and he drove that big thing up. And I said, man, this is bad, because now I have all the cameras are all what? Look at all the fake news. They were, most of them. One little mistake with these guys and your political career is over. You can't even. So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing. These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired. And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, shit. So I had the adrenaline going and I made it. I want to get out of this stage. And they said, it would be unbelievable if you could wear it on stage. I said,
he's such a good sport, don't you think? Let me know if you agree or disagree. But then he gets down. He knows how to joke around, be personable with everybody, and then he knows how to get down to business. And people aren't there for a concert. We still remember what the truth of the matter is. We need to get our economy up and running in a better manner where all of us can make money, not just an opportunity for some, but liberty and justice for all. We need to make sure that the borders are safe and locked up so that we can have this path to citizenship. It's funny that Kamala keeps talking about now that we have to have this good path to citizenship. Well, Kamala, that would be going back. That would be going backwards to what's working. What has worked for a long, long time, what you eliminated with opening the borders and letting all the criminals run rampant and then calling anyone who didn't like it racist. That, I guess, is your new way forward, and it's horrifying.
We have an opportunity hey, you know what? Listen, we all want the war in Gaza to end and get the hostages out as soon as possible, and I will do everything in my power to make it heard and known, and everyone has a right to be heard, but right now I am speaking.
Joy is over. The Joy campaign has ended. This is how she talks to her own supporters. She doesn't have a read of the room because, see, she's created a monster. She's created a lot of people that are filled with hate. And if she really wanted to end the war, she could have ended the war. She's so happy to have a comedian exercise freedom of speech and not do well at the MSG Trump rally, because that rally was epic, because that rally had so much positive energy, because New York was lit up. So she deliberately used the judo principle to try to spin the media, take what they were already planting for confirmation bias. Anybody supporting Trump is a fascist. This is not bringing the country together.
Never have let that happen. I hope you enjoyed this garbage truck.
Let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for.
Well, then they need to stop calling Trump a racist and fascist. Do you think that Joe Biden is trolling Kamala with this as well?
Bet $100 that Hunter Biden is voting for Donald Trump for president.
It doesn't seem like he likes his dad. It seems like
Well, I
he
think
wanted
his dad. I might bet $20 on his dad voting for
Right.
Donald Trump for president, especially
Right.
last night after the garbage comment.
Oh yeah.
That guy is trying to help Donald Trump.
Oh,
We're going to win. I think we're going to win. But after we win, I'm going to be convinced that Joe Biden was trying to help us the whole time.
Well, here's
he put
one
on the
thing.
MAGA hat.
The MAGA hat was crazy.
That was crazy.
When he put on the MAGA hat in front of those guys and they all cheered and he insisted on keeping the hat and he took it with him, I think he's very, very resentful that he got ousted in what was essentially a coup.
Yeah.
Trump trolled Kamala with the judo principle by coming back with the Trump dump truck. I mean, this has gotten to be a tit for tat all the way. But who's going to win based off the judo principle? Because the scary part is that some people are only going off of that. Vance and Donald Trump are so great, though, because if you do take the time to listen to them, you will see the common sense practicality that they offer with real solutions to help the American people immediately, rather than just giving a big party. The thing that Kamala has in her favor is just the big party. People go, they dance, they have good DJs at a rally. It's fun so that people gaslight themselves and forget about the real issues of the economy, of the crime, of the fentanyl, of the danger happening right outside their door 24/7 in what used to be a safe neighborhood. And if it's not happening in your neighborhood, it's coming soon under Kamala's wish. So hopefully she will not win, but this is the truth of the matter. So there is a lot at play here, and the fourth branch of government being the media, that's why it's so important to get the truth out. If Trump has to do a little trolling with some jokey stuff by doing the dump truck thing so that we can get back to the basics of the policies, then so be it. That's politics. That's my opinion. I thought it was actually kind of funny too. I think he's a really good sport and humble, but we know Trump talks about policy over and over and over. He wants to make America safe again, healthy again, rich again, successful again, happy again.